We're 1 week away from a very important day, and that's NFL trade deadline. So, we already know the Patriots are more than likely going to be pretty active by the deadline, whether trying to get somebody to help Drake Maye this season or really just to stock up on their draft capital. So, I have one question for you guys before I jump into my video here today is which player do you guys want to see traded from the New England Patriots? What's up, Pats fans? I'm Allie Barefoot, and I've got 5 trade or keep candidates because there are some players that I do think would be worthwhile keeping on the Patriots team, at least for this season, and then you could possibly see what happens to them in the offseason. But here's the thing with the Patriots. They're rebuilding. They have the future of their franchise quarterback in Drake Maye. They've got a great player on defense that you can build around in Christian Gonzalez and Keon White. So I do think there is some benefits to keeping some players on this roster, but there's also a lot of players on this team that can go to contenders right now, and we can stock up in the next couple of years for the NFL draft. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Number 1, Davon Godchaux. Of course, the defensive tackle has already voiced that he wants to stay in New England, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to put him as a keep. I don't think you should trade away Davon Godchaux, in my opinion. I think that he really proved in the offseason that he does want to play for the New England Patriots. And I do think if you take somebody like Davon away from your 3-4 front, it's going to drastically impact the defense moving forward for this year. So a couple things you guys should know, and the reason why I say you should keep Davon Godchaux around for at least the rest of the season. He called out his teammates already for being selfish, told them to get their egos in check. And I think you need that vocal leader because, look, you've got the head coach and Jerod Mayo already calling the defense soft. And sometimes that can be a little harsh coming from a higher up like a head coach. But if your teammate's sitting here saying you got to get your ego in check, there's a couple things you may want to look in the mirror about. Not to mention, he vocalized heavily that he wants to get paid more money to stay in New England. He signed a 2-year contract extension amid a couple of practice holdouts, but, I guess that's the name of the game now. That's how the business works. So they just paid him, and they went through hoops to pay him as well. It doesn't make sense just to trade him now to get a 6th-round pick. And not to mention, he's reportedly happy with the Patriots. I want to break down what he said because I thought it really stuck out to me in terms of being a vocal leader. And when he did hear about the trade rumors, because these guys are on social media, a lot of them are very active on Twitter or X. And when asked, hey, have you heard about the trade rumors? He said, yeah, I was shocked. But at the end of the day, this is a business. I mean, shit, happens all the time. I'm sure some guys think that they could be on the team for a long time and something happens. This is a business of the NFL. This is what we signed up for. But the fact that he said that he was shocked, I don't think Davon Godchaux wants to be traded from the Patriots. I think he can find a home right here in New England for several years to come, or at least for the contract that's worth 2 years. Not to mention, remember how I said this would drastically affect the 3-4 front? If you end up trading away Davon Godchaux, that means you're going to have Jacqueline Roy as your starting nose tackle. And that's okay. Jacqueline has proved that he can be tied for 7th in total tackles, and he has gotten a lot more reps. He's a lot younger than Godchaux as well. But if you get rid of all the veterans, you're left with just the young guys. It's kind of the blind leading the blind. And I think Davon has proved that he can be a leader on the field and off the field. So my question here during this whole rebuild is, should the Patriots get rid of their veterans like Kj Osborn, Jonathan Jones, Davon Godchaux? Should they just completely clear house and start over with draft picks? Or do you see the benefits in keeping some older guys on the team? Go on ahead and comment down below. You're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break, so type Y for yes, type in for no, and just, comment why or why not in the comment section down below. Number 2, Sidy Sow. If you asked me 8 weeks ago if I think the Patriots should trade Sidy Sow, it'd be a hell no. But now, I say trade him. And here's why. When you look at the offensive line depth chart, Michael Jordan, who I did not think was going to be as great as he is as left guard, has simply been the better option. And so, unfortunately, got that kind of shit end of the stick where he got injured. So that means that he got to sit for a couple of weeks, and that allowed Mike Jordan to really rise above Sidy Sow. But this is a whole new offensive line than we started with at the beginning of the season. And Sidy Sow's level of production has drastically dropped. But here's the reason why I do think you could trade somebody like Sidy Sow is because the offensive line, the trade market is always there. And it's very hard to find a good left guard. And I do think Sow is a good left guard. knowing that he played 64 snaps in week 4. We're entering into week 9. Look at how drastic his snaps have dropped. 8 snaps in week 6 against the Texans, going up against, defending Drake Maye. Week 7, 41 snaps. Week 8, he played 1 snap in the win against the Jets. There's just no need for Sidy Sow anymore except for extra depth. And I think Mike Jordan has earned the starting position. He's outplayed Sidy Sow. Remember how I said it's unfortunate they got injuries? That's also part of the game. But Sidy Sow can be an interchangeable interior offensive lineman. You can put him at the right side. I don't think he's as dominant on the right side as he could be on the left. But there's also up-and-coming offensive linemen that could possibly help with the rebuild moving forward in this franchise. And when you do add Cole Strange back into the mix, which there have been reports that he could possibly play this season, then there's really going to be no offensive production for Sidy Sow. And like I said, the offensive lineman trade market is always open. Every team needs an offensive lineman, which is why I do think you can get something back for Sow right now rather than later in his career. I've got 3 more trade or keep candidates that I think you guys should really stick around for. One of them's a tight end, and it's pretty interesting. So before I hop into that, let me tell you real quick about our sponsor here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I'm talking about Game Time. I actually just had my boyfriend text me earlier saying, hey, can you check out the Bengals at Cowboys game on Game Time? I immediately sent him a screenshot and I said, look at this. Game Time has the lowest price guaranteed, which is why I always love using Game Time. And I love the fact that I know exactly what my view is going to look like from my seat before I even hit checkout. I love that you're going to find the lowest price guaranteed, not to mention all-in pricing. So the total that you see up front is the total that you will have at checkout. No surprise fees. And that's awesome, man. If they're not going to lie to me, then I am all for it. And if you guys want one more feature to go ahead and check out, try Game Time Picks. That makes getting tickets to your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. If you guys want to go ahead and get started, it's super easy to do so. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Trade candidate number 3, Kj Osborn. I'm going to say trade. I'm not very high up on our wide receiver room, I'm going to be honest, but Kj Osborn is just kind of taking away targets from Hunter Henry, Demario Douglas, maybe even Jalen Polk when he figures out how to catch the football. And remember how I showed you a quote from Davon Godchaux earlier in this video asking about trade rumors? Here's Kj Osborn's response to be asked about trade rumors. It's like an alley-oop. This is where I am. This is the place I signed to be. A lot of things are out of my control, but I would like to be where my feet are. So today, I'm here. So now, I'll rock with it as it goes. Did he say he wanted to stay in New England? Did he say he's glad he's in New England? Did he deny the trade rumors? He said, be where my feet are. That doesn't tell me he wants to play for the New England Patriots. And for a fact, I know he's frustrated playing for the New England Patriots because he's already come out and said that he is basically begging for any type of target or reception. But then you go out in week 8 and you drop 2 crucial passes. I don't want to hear that anymore. It sounds like Kj Osborn doesn't want to be here. So if you can go out and get a draft pick for him, absolutely do it. And I don't blame him. I think that this is a very interesting offensive setup here because you've had 2 different quarterbacks and your top receiver is your tight end. The most snaps, the Patriots' top targets this year. There's been 45 targets for Hunter Henry, as there should be. He's 6'5", and he knows how to catch the ball. Demario Douglas is slightly behind him with 39. I think that number should actually be higher. Jalen Polk, about 10 less than Demario Douglas at 26. And honestly, I think that's too much for Jalen Polk because he can't seem to catch the ball right now. Then you have another tight end. And then you have Kj Osborn. From your top target to your 5th top target, that is a drastic number drop, which is why I do hear Kj Osborn in his frustrations. Not to mention, out of those 17 targets, only 4 have come with now their top quarterback in Drake Maye. Maye does not seem to like Osborn, or Alex Van Pelt doesn't seem to like Osborn. So knowing that he played for the Minnesota Vikings the last couple of years, knowing that he could possibly go be with a contender, kind of like a Josh Uche thing, I think you trade Kj Osborn. And I think your wide receiver room looks pretty good without him. So my question for you guys here is trade or keep KJ. I know this is his first year in New England, but after all the rumors that I've heard, it doesn't seem like he wants to be here. It doesn't seem like Alex Van Pelt has him on his high priority list in terms of top targets. Type T for trade, type K for keep. Let's talk about Austin Hooper here, because this was very surprising to me. About some analysts out there are saying to give up Austin Hooper because he can be very big in terms of draft capital that you can get back. But here's why I say you keep Austin Hooper. And I'm actually I don't even know why I want to talk about trading him, because I don't want to let this guy go at all. His PFF grades. His run block is 65.7. His pass block is 59.8. Obviously, pass block is a little bit iffy, but you know what? The entire offensive line's pass block is a little bit iffy. I want to talk about the run block, because I really do think he makes a huge difference in Ramondre Stevenson's run game. Did you know that Austin Hooper is the second best run blocker on the Patriots football team, and he's the 10th best pass blocker? That's going to say a lot for a guy that's not an actual offensive lineman. I have seen clips. I have seen film that when Ramondre Stevenson has a successful route, that means a 10-plus yard gain. Do you know who's opening up the gap for him? Austin Hooper. Even if he's not going to be your top target, which Hunter Henry is, and he's the fourth top target, he is one of your best run blockers that you have on this team, and I love running a tight end stack. Not to mention, on those 25 targets that he does have this season, 15 of them have been catches. He is a great option when Hunter Henry is now being double-teamed, because defenses have caught on that you can hit Hunter Henry in the flats time and time again. Hooper is a great quick-out option. And I do think that if you're going to have a guy that obviously has great hands, 15 out of 25 on his completions and targets, and you have the best run blocker on your team, I don't care what draft capital you can get for him. You got to keep him on this ball team, or else that offense is going to crumble very quick. But one more here on defense, Jonathan Jones. Producer Joey is super hyped about him. He wants him on the Ravens, and I'm going to be honest, I could see him being traded away. When I'm looking at a Jonathan Jones situation, I'm looking at the Josh Uche situation. Josh obviously was a healthy scratch in Week 8, and he was traded to the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday morning. I think that's a scenario that needs to kind of happen with Jonathan Jones here, because if you are going to rebuild and you don't want to let go of all your veterans, I think this is one veteran you actually can say goodbye to. I think he's had a good year personally, but when I was watching the Jets game, and I noticed something here, Davante Adams was locked up when Christian Gonzalez was guarding Davante Adams. And then when you had Garrett Wilson being guarded by Marcus Jones or Jonathan Jones, Wilson went over 100 receiving yards. Now you've got the third oldest player on the team, and Jonathan Jones, you're looking to rebuild. You need to move in the direction of rebuilding by finding somebody to pair with Gonzalez in the backfield. I think for this season alone, you are okay with using Marcus Jones. I think you're fine with it. It's not my favorite option. I think you can draft somebody for that option, knowing that Gonzo's only a second-year player, but I don't think his right-hand man should be Jonathan, which is why I think the rebuild needs to move forward without Jonathan Jones, because he's just going to take up reps from another player that can actually come in and make a huge impact the exact same way Christian Gonzalez has. Not to mention, you already seen that people out there want to trade for Jonathan Jones. I think you can get the exact same trade you just got for Uche, a 6th-round draft pick, and you send Jay Jones to a contender. My last question here for you guys is, who should the Patriots not trade at the deadline? Mine's going to be Austin Hooper. If I see he's traded, I've got words for Gerard Mayo. So if you guys want to comment that down below, and as always, go ahead and do one thing for me and hit that sub button.